Yes. So tell me, what has been your experience in the community of the BDSM world?
What type of play they're into, names they want to be called.
How do people find out about like these parties?
You can use your hands. I personally like using my hands.
How common do you think that spanking fetish is?
Oh, so this is a sexual thing. I didn't know it. And that completely changed my perspective.
Welcome to Session and Secrets. And today I have a special guest, my friend Amy. And she has been in the BDSM community for years. And I'm really excited to have you here, Amy.
Hi, excited to talk to you.
Yes. So tell me, what has been your experience in the community of the BDSM world?
I started being very interested in fetishes when I was in Brazil, actually. But then I only really got close to the community when I moved to LA because here is so like out there. Everybody talks about it, and it's so much easier to find people there feel more comfortable to talk about it here in LA than in Brazil, which is still like a taboo. It's been really amazing. I love attending to the parties, the play parties, and getting to know people, and also like learning more about the things I like, and being the one also that brings that to my relationships.
Yes. And so to start with, we're going to start, just defining BDSM. B stands for bondage, D for domination, S for submission, and sadomasochism, right? Or masochism. And so, but tell me more about the play parties.
So we have many play parties here in the city, which is super cool. They are usually vetted. So it's not like any person that can go. You have to go through like an application, a process. Um, each party has like a different style. Some parties are more focused in one type of thing. For example, we have like a spanking party.
Oh, what's
So
that about, Amy?
yeah, so in a spanking party, we only do spanking plays. You're not allowed to do any type of swinger stuff or any other type of plays. Very focused in the spankings.
So if I was to walk in one of those party, like what would I be seeing? Like, could you describe to me what that would look
Yeah.
like?
From my experience, the one that I attend, they have icebreakers. So for those they are still new in the community or they don't know how to play and they are still learning, we have like a nice breaker table right in the beginning. So they always like depending on the theme of the party. We have like school theme or we have
Oh,
like 80s or like more like Christmas. It depends on the season. And then the icebreaker is the best thing to help the newbies to feel more comfortable. Sometimes they give you like sheets with things like missions you have or things you have to collect from other people. So you have to actually play and socialize. So you
okay.
can mark the things and then you can switch that to a gift, to like a sex toy or
Oh,
a
okay. So
discount for the next party.
so like Chuck E. Cheese, like you're collecting tokens, and then at the end you
Yeah,
get to have a
yeah,
reward, a prize.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then we also have like a BIOB bar. So most of these places they don't sell drinks, so you bring your own bottle, and then they usually have like a bartender that complements your drink with some sodas and juices, and then you can drink. A lot of people prefer not drinking because they want to keep it like they want to play
They want
when
to
they are
be.
sober. They are more
Mhm.
responsible. Um,
They want to be present through this
they want to
experience.
be more present too. And then they also give you like a what do you call like a label you put on your clothes, and then it says if you're a top, a bottom, or a switch. So it makes it easier for people to look at each other like, oh, you're a bottom, do you want to play? I'm a top.
So what does it mean to be a top
It
or a
means
bottom? Or
so being a top means you're the one giving, or for example, if you like impact play, which is like spanking, for example, you are the one that is going to be giving the pleasure or the pain to your bottom.
You'll be spanking.
You're being
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're gonna be the one also responsible for your bottom. You gotta ask your bottom how much pain is okay for the person to take, and what type of play they're into, names they want to be called. Because some people, they have their own boundaries. There are some names that it can trigger them.
Right.
So the top responsibility is not only giving physical pain and pleasure, but also taking care of your bottom. Make sure that your bottom is okay with whatever you're doing or giving.
And then if you're the bottom, then you're the one being spanked.
You're the one being spanked or receiving.
Receiving, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so do they choose their partners in these parties?
You can. You can just go
you-
around and socialize. You can go single and just make friends. Sometimes they have some features. So they call someone that is a professional to be the feature of the night. For
Okay.
example, sometimes they have like the top of the night. It's going to be the Domme giving little spanks to those that
Right.
want to receive, or teaching other Doms how to spank. in
Okay.
case
So
they
this
wanna
is
learn.
someone that's more like professional.
Yeah,
Someone that
they're usually
really knows it.
professionals. Yeah.
Okay. And so then when they do decide to do it, then what do you use a hand? What do they use?
You can use your hands. I personally like using my hands. I have many tools. I collect like purple toys because it's my favorite color. I have like paddles, crops. I have a lot of different toys, but I still prefer using my hands because I feel like it makes me feel the most connected to my bottom. And I like feeling the heat coming from
Of
my
your hand?
spank. Yeah, in my hand. Both, right? Like my hand gets warm and the person's body gets warm too. So I think it's better for me to have like an idea of how much that person's taking, because you can feel like the heat in the body.
And are these like bare bottoms?
What is that?
Like bare bottoms means like no clothing? No clothing? Like skin to skin?
Oh,
spanking?
yeah, that's the best way to do it. Yeah, I would say or like over latex can be fun too.
Okay.
Over leather.
Okay. And so how do people find out about like these parties? How do you find the community?
I would recommend then just going to FetLife,
Uh-huh.
Because when you go to the events tab, you can find like everything.
Everything happening
You
near
can
you.
imagine like not only play parties, but like gangbangs, meetings, or like swingers, like just couples looking for other couples to do something more intimate or to like travel together. Sometimes couples are looking for other couples to just get an Airbnb in the middle of nowhere and just play, like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
FetLife is a great platform for people that want to experiment and find other like-minded. What is the word?
Like-minded individuals.
Like-minded people, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And so with the how common how common do you think that the spanking fetish is?
I think it's one of the most common one because we actually get spanked by our parents, right?
Oh, okay.
So it's a thing that stays somewhere.
Unconsciously, yes, it stays in your body and it stays, yeah.
And years ago, I heard some stories of people there from other generations saying that teachers used to spank students in the school. So I can imagine like how that stays when you have like a hot teacher, how that stays in your mind, like, I think I'm gonna just be a bad boy, so I can meet my hot teacher.
I mean, which I want to ask you this. A lot of people think that maybe people that go to these events is because they've experienced some type of trauma or they've been, maybe physically abused. What do you think about that? What has been your experience?
I heard a lot of stories from friends and other people that I play with that they realized after a while, because it takes some time for some people to realize that was a trauma. I can even share an experience that I've been through last year that was very like mind blowing for me. But it for some people it comes from trauma, and they find this place as a place for healing, because it's a place where they are not doing that with the trigger, with the thing that makes them feel like they're worthless without their consent. So some people, when they realize that that is coming from a trauma, oh, my dad used to get home drunk and beat me and my mom, for example. And then weirdly, you find yourself in this place where you start like watching porn videos or videos where you actually like seeing spanking or any type of impact play. You're like, why do I like this, but I feel so wrong about it? And if they meet the right people to talk about in the community, we are usually very open, and we don't shame people for the things they like. After, like, when you go to these conventions and parties, you end up meeting people there can bring this insights to you, like, oh, this is a safe place for you to actually like that. Even if it's weird, you can like that because you're in a safe place where you have boundaries, and you're telling pretty much like, I want to be the weak man, I want to be your, but I'm telling you, I'm giving you my power, I'm telling you the way I want to feel like I'm your little for that weak man. It's not like you're being abused, you're not in the environment where they are doing that, just overusing their power. You can turn that into something playful where you can use your safe word. And I think that can be healing for some
Yes.
people.
Yes,
You
no,
know?
it definitely can, because it gives you control over something that was out of your control, right? And so, like you said, it takes away the shame of the things you like. And so, um, do people talk about it when it's happening, or how do you learn about these stories?
I think hearing from friends, when I realized that I was a fetishist when I was in Brazil, I have a very funny story about it. I
Well,
was
tell us.
Okay, I can. I was dating a very nice boy. He was a designer, and I noticed like he was like always like checking my feet under the table when we were having dinner. Sometimes putting like a little finger like under the shoes and just like tickling me a little bit. I was like, I thought it was kind of cute. I didn't see anything really sexual on that. But then when we broke up, I remember that he prepared all my things in a bag so I could pick up my stuff from his house. But then the only thing that he didn't give me back was like my shoes and my socks. And I was like, why you're keeping my shoes and my socks? Like, what are you gonna do with that? And he never really told me why. And then I remember telling my best friend at the time, like, oh, that's so weird. So my ex boyfriend doesn't want to give my shoes back. He was like, I know why. I was like, why? I was like, oh, I think he has a foot fetish. And I was like, what is that? And then my friend showed him like many websites with different videos. And I was like, oh, so this is a sexual thing. I didn't know it. And that completely changed my perspective, because I started like looking at people's feet in the streets and picking like very sexy heels and shoes. And then I started getting into it because I felt like, okay, you opened this world. Now I want to just dive in, you know? So I remember like when I moved to New York, I ended up finding those parties on Craigslist. Yeah. And I started going to the parties because I was so curious. Like, oh, I want to meet more people that like that. And people like switch shoes. They sell used shoes. They buy
At the
your
parties?
stinky socks. They like, like you can like make videos, weird videos, like smashing things with your feet, like cupcakes, for example. Like in the bottoms are the ones that like doing things with your feet. So what was the question? Like we were talking about getting into
How did you,
fetishes.
yeah. Yes.
And then what was your question?
I think that if people do open up about the stories,
So as I was getting more comfortable with my own fetishes, I was meeting more people that were also into it. And like I never really felt ashamed of it. So when I go around, just go to a club or just meet new people on dating apps, I usually just ask them like, "Oh, are you like into some type of different stuff? Like I'm a fetishist. I like feet stuff, for example, or I like topping my partners." So I think when I do that with this confidence, I also make people feel more comfortable to talk about their
yes,
fetish.
of course.
And this is pretty much how I've started like hearing different stories and learning more about people. And here in LA is like in New York too. Like I feel like the big cities are good places for you to just go to a bar and a club, a karaoke night, and just you're gonna meet people that are kinky. Like especially now that people talk about it on the internet, like we are doing right now. Um, and sometimes like I remember like going to the Domme convention. There is a convention here in LA called DomCon. It happens like once in a year. And I remember like just going there and gathering with my friends in a hotel room, and we were all crying, talking about our traumas, how ashamed we felt, and how it was hard to tell to a partner that now we have these fantasies, and sometimes some partners feel very scared. Sometimes they don't
And
accept
yeah, some
those
partners
things.
shame,
Yeah.
partners' fantasies.
So that's pretty much like I just go around and just talk about it to
You
people. I
just
don't
go.
care. Yeah.
And I think that makes a difference because, like you said, it's only how you deliver the question, right? So if you're ashamed of what you like, then
And
the
I do
other people are
therapy
gonna perceive
too.
it.
I think that helps too. Because I do therapy. My therapist never ashamed me for those things. So I just go like, okay, well, that's cool. I have this thing I'm going to
Yes.
keep thinking about. I always ask myself, like, why do I like this thing? And I think it's a thing that all people should do unless that hurts them and it goes to a dark place that they don't want to
Yes.
go. But I think it's cool to have those auto analysis that sometimes like, what, why do I like stinky feet? When did I start liking that? Oh, it's because that little girl in the school that she put the stinky feet on my face and I can't forget the scent.
Yes. And what we do, we make associations. I think we've talked about it before, right? Like how we make associations with things. And so if we have even if it was a positive experience, right? Of feet, rubbing your mom's feet, right?
Yeah,
Like or doing something like that and feeling the love and the nurture. So it doesn't have to be a trigger of trauma that you have control. It could also be, remembering something that was positive about that
right.
experience. And because sometimes people do think that, oh, everybody that's doing like fetishes or spanking, it's because they have experienced trauma, and not necessarily. I mean, trauma is prevalent in the maybe the BDSM world, but it's also very prevalent outside of the BDSM world. So sometimes people like what they like because they like,
Yeah.
right? Like I like chocolate ice cream. That's my favorite.
I
So
like dipping my French fries in this ice cream.
yeah, and
I'm a
so
weirdo.
there's no, sometimes there's no reason. I just like it, and that's it. And so, um, well, what do you think? Um, what is something that maybe you think? Okay, I thought I had seen it all, but no, I haven't in this parties. Have you seen? Because I certainly experienced that as a therapist. Like, oh, I've heard of I've heard it all. Well, at some point I used to think, but now no, not anymore. I already know. No, I haven't heard it all.
Every day. I think every time I go to a play party or every time I'm playing with someone or just having people send me messages on social media like for example, I like fit stuff, right? So there are people they want me to wear like the same socks for like 3, 5, 10 days. And they really want to smell those socks after like working out, like hiking, or I don't know, like walking in the rain and bringing those wet socks home. Like there's always something new. Like I always see
Mhm.
people bringing like new ways to like the thing that I was like, oh, okay, this person just likes socks. Like my ex-boyfriend, he just wanted to keep my socks. There was nothing really crazy about those socks, but like having my scent. But some people, they go deeper. They want like the stinky, the I don't
The
know, the
raw.
dirty. They want me to like sometimes my bottoms, right? They want me to step on like soil or like walk barefoot somewhere like dirty. And they like that. They think it's crunchy, it brings like a different seasoning. Um, I don't know. There's always something interesting. Like people like you can imagine like there's so I will have to think about here, but I've seen a lot of different things for sure.
I'm sure you have. What about I have another question. So when you go to those parties, what does it look like inside? Is there like certain special furniture or
They usually have special furniture, so you feel more like creative to create your own scene with your partner. They usually have like benches, so you can sit and get a little spanking from the benches. They have the St. Andrew's cross, so you can just like be holding like the cross, the rings, and then you have like all your body right open this way to get spanked in like in your arms, in your back, on your butt, in your legs. They have cages, which is I think it's super fun because you can just like keep the person inside the cage, and then you can give little treats like a pet, or like, oh, if you spend like 10 minutes inside the cage, that means you have like a very good control. You can start very like with minimal requirements, like, oh, I want you to spend 10 minutes in this cage because I'm your mom. I'm your mommy, Dom, and I think you should stay there just thinking about all the naughty things you've been doing this week. So if you spend 10 minutes there, I can give you a little treat. It can be anything you like. Like
so what's the first 10 minutes can feel like a long time.
it can feel like a long time.
What are they doing in those 10 minutes in the cage?
Reflect. Like I've been a naughty boy, I've been a naughty girl, I've been playing too much recently, not doing my work, not waking up early, not
Not
going to the
exercising.
gym. So, or it can be like your top can put you inside the cage and just tease you with whatever lingerie, can do a strip and like, oh, I'm all naked here. You're not gonna do anything with that. You're just gonna watch. So it's like a privation of your senses. Like I'm just gonna be here inside this cage watching this beautiful top, just doing a striptease, and I have just to watch. That can be a punishment, a punishment. Just watching
A
your partner
punishment?
beautiful, wearing like the most beautiful lingerie, or or I don't know, doing a dance or being with someone else, kissing someone else. It can be a cuck.
Cuck holder. And how when you're when people are giving consent of what they want or expressing what they want, is there like a certain questions that you suggest for those that are trying it for the first time? Like at these places, do they tell? Is there like some guidance on how
Mm-hmm.
to gather that information?
I suggest the tops and the bottoms should always spend at least 5 minutes before a scene, because sometimes you are in a play party, you don't want to spend like 20 minutes.
Yeah, talking.
Yeah, but you can spend a good quality 5 minutes just being asking like, is there some part in your body that I cannot touch? You don't want to be touched, or because you have pain, or because you have some treatment, some scar, or you just feel ashamed of that part of your body, don't want me to see it or touch. Or you can ask, are there some names you don't want to be called as? Because that can trigger you. Or what's your favorite thing? What is, I think like asking what's your favorite type of play. So you can give a little bit of that mixed with what the top likes. What's your boundaries with names and parts of the body don't want to be touched. And the safe word, I think this is the basics you should ask before playing, especially in a play party. And like how much time you have, and what's your commitment here. This is just like a thing we are just doing this party, or you want to keep having contact? Can I get your phone number? Do you want to like keep getting to know each other? Because some people, they just want to have that moment in the play party. It's just to be, it's meant to be just in the party, but some people, they want to keep playing. They want to actually meet other people to have like a long-term relationship with them.
Have you seen that? Have you seen couples come from this?
Yes, a lot of couples actually meet in a play party doing the
Yes.
most naughty things, and they are getting married now.
Yes.
I do know those couples.
Yeah. Me too. I've had clients that have met at these parties and then they're married.
Wow, they are both
Yeah.
like seeing the most vulnerable things about each other. So I do think that can be a good place to
Can
meet.
bond them.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, is there anything else that you would like to share?
I don't know. There are so many things I can share.
Well, you'll be coming back anyways to share more with us about
Yeah, I think that people shouldn't be ashamed of the things they like. I've been watching a lot of podcasts about relationships and seeing how men feel alone now that the girls are taking the power back. And I see a lot of single men feeling like, oh, but if I'm too vulnerable, they're going to think I'm weak. But then, wow, you can use a vulnerability as a kinky thing. Like you can, if you're kinky, if you figure out you're kinky, you can use that. For example, there are some men, they have a small, can I say words?
yes,
A small penis. So they end up developing a fetish for that. And I really admire those men because they could be just at home alone thinking that nobody wants to play with that. But there's so much you can do with that. And you can just, if you're like being a bottom, you can just grab a dom that is a nice dom that respects your boundaries just to play with that. And like, oh, that little penis, what are you gonna do with that? And then in the end, it can be fun, you know, because that's a reality. You were born with a little thing. And it might be hard for some girls to feel pleasure, some other girls, but there are so many things you can do with that. You can use your tongue, you can use toys. So as long as you find a way to feel connected to your kinks and try to meet people, they're okay with that. They want to have fun with that, you know, in a respectful way, in a playful way. I think that nobody should be just isolating themselves at home and feeling like they're alone, they are weirdos, because there's always someone that's gonna like the thing you like.
There's always a community.
Yeah.
Exactly. And where can people find you if they want to know more about you?
They can find me on Instagram. My handle is Amy Stargher, or they can find me on YouTube with the same name. Okay. Or on Fat Life.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being with us, and we look forward to having you again, Amy.
For inviting me.
Subscribe.